Arya's our child! She's your daughter!
A quick reminder before the drama unfolds. Smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you always stay in the loop. Hello, story lovers. It's great to see you. Right now, we're unpacking the complete narrative and exclusive recap of Daddy Mommies in the Sky. This video is an emotional short drama that follows a tragic misunderstanding between a couple, Adrian and Erica, and their daughter, Arya. Time to stop waiting and start watching. Let's roll the recap.
The rain felt like ice against Adrian's skin. He clutched a small white box tightly. Inside was Erica's favorite cake. He had rushed over as fast as he could. He looked up at the apartment window. Panic gripped his chest. Something was terribly wrong. "Baby, I came as fast as I could," he called out. "I even got your favorite cake. Do not come up here," he pleaded. His voice trembled with fear. The air felt heavy. Erica stared down at him. Her eyes were empty. There was no love left in them. "Adrian, are you seriously still not getting it?" she asked coldly. The words pierced his heart. "I was with you because you were rich. That is it," Erica stated. Her tone was sharp. It cut through the cold night air. "Your family is broke. Your parents are dead. You have got nothing now," she continued. Every word was a dagger. Adrian felt his world collapsing. "So leave me the hell alone," Erica finished. She turned her back slightly. The rejection was absolute. Adrian could not believe his ears. "No, Erica, no," he begged. Tears mixed with the rain on his face. "You said we were forever." His voice broke. "I will gut myself right here, Erica, if you want money. I will get it, okay?" He cried desperately. He was willing to do anything. "Just please do not throw me away," Adrian pleaded. He dropped to his knees. The wet pavement soaked through his jeans. Erica sneered at him. "Adrian, I do not want you anymore," she said ruthlessly. "I have already found someone with actual money. Now get away from me," she yelled. Adrian felt a physical ache in his chest. This could not be real. She was his entire world. "You are all I have got left. Please do not do this," Adrian sobbed. He held the cake box like a lifeline. "Just come downstairs, okay? We can talk. Please," he begged again. He hoped she would see his pain. He hoped she would change her mind. "Jesus Christ, Adrian, take the hint," Erica shouted back. Her face twisted in annoyance. "Just get the hell out of my life, you broke loser." Silence fell between them. The insult echoed in his mind. A broke loser. That was all he was to her now. His spirit shattered completely. He slowly stood up. His eyes were dead. "If that is really what you want, then I will go," he whispered. "I will not bother you again, Erica," Adrian promised. He turned around and walked away into the darkness. He left his heart behind. Erica watched him leave. The moment he was out of sight, she collapsed. Tears streamed down her face. She sobbed uncontrollably on the floor. Everything she had said was a lie. She loved him deeply, but she had to push him away. It was the only way to protect him. The doctor's words echoed in her mind. "Mrs. Lennox, I am sorry. Your husband did not survive." The memory brought fresh agony. Then came the second blow. "Miss Lennox, your mother passed away last night. We believe she took her own life." Erica was entirely alone. The grief had been unbearable. She confessed to her empty room. "I tried to kill myself 3 times. They just kept bringing me back. I should have died with them," she whispered to the shadows. But she could not. A doctor had stopped her. "Do not do it. You are pregnant." That single revelation changed everything. She had to breathe. She had to live for the baby, Adrian's baby. "Maybe I will fight tooth and nail for a life with you," she whispered. She rubbed her flat stomach gently. It was her only hope. Years passed. Erica raised their daughter, Arya, alone. But fate was cruel. The doctor delivered more devastating news. Terminal cancer. She tried to reach out to Adrian. He was successful now, but he hated her. The first time, she asked for 200 grand for treatments. The second time, she brought her terminal cancer diagnosis. He did not even look at it. He threw her out. "This is the last time you come here." After that day, Erica disappeared from his life completely. She spent her final days with Arya. Then, her body finally gave out. Erica opened her eyes. She was not in a hospital bed. She was floating. She looked down and saw her own hands. They were translucent. She rushed home. It was Arya's 5th birthday. "It is your birthday today. I am coming home," Erica said. She phased through the front door. "Mommy," Arya cried happily. The little girl reached out. Erica tried to hug her, but her arms went right through her daughter. Erica pulled back in horror. "Baby, no, that is too hot." She tried to warn Arya about a cup, but she could not touch it. 3 years as a ghost, and I still forget I cannot hold her, Erica wept. She watched helplessly as Arya tried to care for herself. "Mommy, I am hungry," Arya said to the empty air. She looked at a flyer. "Oh, I can call the pizza guy myself now." Erica shook her head sadly. "Sweetheart, that is not really how it works. The pizza guy is not going to come just because you call him." Arya dialed a number, but it was not the pizza place. It was the only number her mother had forced her to memorize. Adrien's private line. Adrien sat in his massive office. He was the head of the Calloway Group. A reporter sat across from him, asking eager questions. "Mr. Calloway, your growth over the past 5 years has been incredible," the reporter praised. "What is the secret behind your success?" Adrien's phone buzzed. It was a restricted number. He answered it coldly. "Sir, I am hungry," a tiny voice said on the other end. "When are you bringing the pizza?" Arya asked innocently. Adrien's blood ran cold. He thought it was Erica playing a sick joke. "I told you to stay the hell away from me," Adrien snarled into the phone. "What is it this time? More money?" "Sir, my tummy sounds like a growling monster," Arya complained. Adrien rolled his eyes. "Put Erica on the phone right now," he demanded. "Mommy cannot answer anymore," Arya replied softly. Adrien frowned. "What is that supposed to mean?" He snapped impatiently. "Mommy said she turned into a star way up in the sky," Arya explained. Adrien scoffed loudly. "Unbelievable! What kind of game was this?" Erica's ghost floated in Adrien's office. She heard everything. "What exactly would I be lying to you for now?" She whispered sadly. "I am literally dead," Erica cried out. She looked at Adrien's hardened face. "Adrien hates me so much. How could he ever treat Arya well?" Meanwhile, Arya was alone in a dingy apartment. A loud knock echoed through the room. "Arya, do not open the door," Erica's ghost pleaded. But Arya was just a child. She opened the door. Strange men barged in. "Where is she? Where is she?" They yelled, tearing the place apart. Adrien eventually arrived at the apartment. He wanted to confront Erica, but when his men got there, the place was empty. The kid was alone. "Sir, bad guys took me," Arya had told a passerby earlier. Now she was wandering the dangerous streets alone. Adrien stood in the empty apartment. "Oh my God, Erica," he muttered angrily. "You are seriously sending your kid to clean up your mess now?" He remembered Erica's past words. "Arya is our child. She is your daughter, right?" He had laughed at her then. "You would never believe me anyway," Erica had said, crying. After Arya was born, she inherited the Calloway family's heart condition. Erica had no choice but to find Adrien for money. But Adrien only saw a gold digger. "You dump me, then come back with somebody else's kid." He remembered throwing a check at her. "How much here?" "Right. You are really obsessed with money. 200 grand. Now?" Adrien was furious. He left the apartment to search for the girl, not out of love, but out of sheer anger at Erica's negligence. It was raining again. Arya wandered the wet streets. "Mommy, where should I go?" she asked the sky. Erica's ghost followed her closely. "Arya, you have to go back to the orphanage," Erica urged, though unheard. "It is going to rain soon." Arya looked up at the gray sky. "Maybe if I follow the clouds, I can find Mommy," she reasoned with childish logic. "God, please. Please let the orphanage people find her," Erica prayed. She could not protect her baby from the cold rain. Adrien was driving nearby. He spotted a small figure near an alleyway. He stopped the car and got out. It was Arya. She was digging through a garbage can. She pulled out a half-eaten piece of bread. Adrien felt a surge of rage. He stormed over and snatched the bread from her hand. "Why will you not let me eat? I am hungry," Arya cried out, struggling against him. "This is what you do now, Erica," Adrien yelled at the empty street. "You leave a 5-year-old alone out here?" He grabbed Arya's arm. "Let me go. I am hungry," the little girl screamed. She kicked at his expensive trousers. Adrien picked her up effortlessly. "Why will you not let me eat? Put me down." "You are mean," Arya sobbed. hitting his chest. "Nobody eats garbage off the street," Adrien scolded her strictly. He carried her towards his sleek black car. "What the hell is wrong with your mother?" he muttered angrily. Arya continued to fight him. "Hey, stop it. I hate you," she yelled. Adrien scoffed. "Jesus Christ, you have got your mother's temper," he observed. "Good thing you are not mine." "Yeah, you would not want that," Arya snapped back, mirroring a phrase she had heard adults say. Adrien paused for a moment. He noticed she was clutching a small wooden box. "What is inside that box?" he asked, his tone slightly less harsh. Arya pulled the box away defensively. "I hope you never find out," she said fiercely. It held her mother's ashes. Erica stood beside them, crying silently. "Do not touch my mom's arm, Adrien. Do not," she begged, even though she knew he could not hear. He was her father. She was his daughter. And neither of them knew the tragic truth that connected them in this storm. Adrien shoved the little girl into the back seat of his car. He slammed the door shut. The rain drummed loudly against the metal roof. He walked around to the driver's side. His mind was racing with fury. Erica was truly the most despicable woman he had ever known. He started the engine. The car roared to life. He looked at Arya through the rearview mirror. She was shivering uncontrollably in the back. Her wet hair clung to her pale face. Her small hands were wrapped tightly around that wooden box. She glared at him with intense hatred. "Where is she hiding?" Adrien demanded. His voice was hard and cold. He pulled the car out onto the dark, slick road. Arya did not answer. She just held the box closer to her chest. She turned her head to look out the window at the passing city lights. "I asked you a question, kid," Adrien said louder. He gripped the steering wheel tightly. His knuckles turned white. "Mommy is not hiding," Arya finally spoke. Her voice was small but firm. "She is a star now. She watches me." Adrien let out a harsh laugh. "A star? Is that the new lie she is spinning?" He shook his head in disgust. "She is a coward." "Do not call my mommy a coward," Arya yelled. She kicked the back of his seat. "She is brave. She is the bravest. Brave women do not abandon their kids on the street to eat garbage," Adrien shot back ruthlessly. He did not care that she was a child. Arya started to cry again. Silent tears mixed with the rainwater on her cheeks. She hugged the box as if it could protect her. Erica sat in the passenger seat. She was invisible to them both. She reached out to touch Adrien's shoulder. Her hand passed right through. "Adrien, please. Stop yelling at her," Erica pleaded softly. "She is just a baby. Our baby." She does not understand, but the silence in the car was deafening. The only sound was the rhythmic beating of the windshield wipers. It felt like a countdown. They arrived at the Calloway estate. Huge iron gates swung open slowly. The car drove up a long, sweeping driveway lined with tall trees. The mansion was massive. It looked more like a castle than a home. It was a symbol of everything Adrien had built after Erica left him. He parked the car near the grand entrance. He turned off the engine. "Get out," he ordered the little girl. Arya hesitated. She looked at the giant stone building. It was terrifyingly big. She clutched her box and slowly slid out of the car. Adrien walked towards the massive front doors. He did not wait for her. Arya had to jog on her small legs just to keep up with his long strides. He pushed the heavy doors open. The interior was lavish and warm. Crystal chandeliers cast a golden glow over polished marble floors. An older woman rushed forward. It was Mrs. Gable, the housekeeper. She gasped when she saw the dripping wet, filthy child behind her boss. "Mr. Calloway, who is this child?" Mrs. Gable asked in shock. She quickly grabbed a warm towel from a nearby hall closet. "She is Erica's problem," Adrien said dismissively. He took off his wet jacket. He threw it over a chair without looking back. "Clean her up. Feed her something that is not out of a dumpster," he instructed. "Then put her in one of the guest rooms." "But sir, where is her mother?" Mrs. Gable asked gently. She wrapped the warm towel around Arya's shivering shoulders. "That is what I intend to find out," Adrien muttered darkly. "Keep an eye on her. Do not let her break anything." He walked away toward his massive private study. He left Arya standing alone with the housekeeper in the massive foyer. Arya looked up at Mrs. Gable. Her large eyes were full of fear and confusion. "Are you going to be mean to me too?" she asked quietly. Mrs. Gable felt her heart melt. She knelt down to the child's eye level. "No, sweetie. I am going to get you some warm soup," she smiled. Erica watched from the doorway. A small smile crossed her ghostly face. At least someone in this house would be kind to her daughter. Later that evening, Adrien sat at his heavy oak desk. He stared at his computer screen. He had private investigators looking for Erica, but they found nothing. It was as if she had vanished from the face of the earth. He rubbed his temples in frustration. He decided to check on the brat. He walked upstairs. The hallway was long and silent. He found the guest room where Mrs. Gable had put her. The door was slightly open. He peered inside. Arya was sitting on the center of the large bed. She was wearing an oversized t-shirt. She looked tiny in the massive room. She was holding that same wooden box. She was talking to it softly. Adrien stepped into the room. "What is so important about that box?" he asked. His voice startled the little girl. Arya quickly hid the box behind her back. "Nothing," she lied defensively. Her eyes darted around the room, looking for an escape. Adrien walked closer. "Do not lie to me in my own house," he warned. He held out his large hand. "Give it here." "No," Arya shouted. She scrambled backward on the bed. "It belongs to me. It is mine." She hugged the box fiercely. "Erica probably packed it full of stolen jewelry," Adrien sneered. He did not trust anything associated with that woman. He lunged forward and grabbed the box from her small hands. "Hey, give it back. You are a bad man," Arya screamed in sheer panic. Adrien ignored her cries. The box was surprisingly heavy. It had no lock, just a simple latch on the front. He flicked it open. He expected to see money or diamonds. Instead, he saw a sealed plastic bag. Inside the bag was thick gray ash. Adrien froze. His mind struggled to process what he was looking at. There was a small metal tag attached to the bag. He reached out with a trembling finger and turned the tag over. It had a name engraved on it, Erica Lennox. The room suddenly felt ice cold. The air left his lungs in a rush. He stared at the name. He read it again and again. "Give it back to me," Arya sobbed. She crawled across the bed and snatched the box from his frozen hands. "It is my mommy." Adrien stepped back. His legs felt weak. He bumped into the wall behind him. The reality of the ashes crashed into his mind like a freight train. Adrien stared at the wooden box. His breathing became erratic. The room spun around him. He looked at the little girl on the bed. Arya was crying softly. She held the box against her chest. "Erica is dead," Adrien whispered to himself. The words tasted like ash in his mouth. He could not accept it. He remembered her standing in his office. She had handed him a medical folder. He had thrown it on the floor. "This is the last time you ever come here," he had told her. He had kicked her out. He never looked at the papers. Now he realized those papers were her death sentence. She had terminal cancer. She had come to him for help. He had denied her the 200 grand. He thought she was just greedy. He thought she was playing another game. Adrien fell to his knees. The harsh CEO persona shattered instantly. He covered his face with his large hands. A guttural sob escaped his throat. It was a sound of pure agony. The pain in his chest was unbearable. Erica stood next to him. She reached out and hovered her hand over his dark hair. "I am sorry, Adrien," she cried. Adrien stayed on the floor for a long time. Arya watched him with wide, fearful eyes. She stopped crying. She did not understand why the bad man was sad. She carefully slid off the large bed. She stood near him. "Why are you crying?" Arya asked softly. Her small voice pierced through his grief. Adrien looked up at her. He saw Erica's eyes in her face. He saw her stubborn chin. He also saw something else. Something familiar. "How old are you, kid?" Adrien asked. His voice was hoarse and broken. He wiped his face with his sleeve. "I am 5 years old," Arya replied proudly. She held up 5 small fingers. Adrien felt another violent shock. 5 years. Erica had left him exactly 5 years and 8 months ago. The math clicked in his head perfectly. "Who is your father?" he demanded suddenly. He grabbed her small shoulders. "Did Erica ever tell you about him?" Arya shook her head. "Mommy said Daddy lived far away. She said he was a busy man," the little girl explained. Adrien let go of her. He stumbled backward. He needed proof. He needed to know the absolute truth right now. Adrien ran out of the guest room. He stormed down the stairs. He yelled for Mrs. Gable to watch the child. He locked himself in his study. He picked up his phone. He dialed his private investigator with shaking hands. "Find Erica Lennox's medical records. Find everything from the last 6 years," he ordered the man on the phone. "I need them in my inbox in 10 minutes. I do not care how you get them," Adrien shouted before hanging up. He paced around the room like a caged animal. Every second felt like an eternity. His heart pounded in his chest. Finally, his computer pinged. An encrypted file arrived. He opened it frantically. The screen filled with data. He saw the death certificate first. Cause of death was advanced stomach cancer. Time of death was 3 weeks ago. Then he saw the birth certificate. Arya Lennox. Mother was Erica Lennox. The father section was left completely blank. He scrolled down to Arya's medical history. A flashing red flag caught his eye. A diagnosis made shortly after birth. Congenital heart defect. The exact same rare condition that ran in the Calloway family. His father had died from it. The truth was undeniable. Arya was his daughter. She had his blood. She had his family's deadly genetic curse. Erica had known. She had found out about the heart condition. That was why she broke her silence and came back. She did not want his money for herself. She wanted it to save their daughter. She was desperate to keep Arya alive. Oh God, what have I done? Adrien gasped. He clutched his own chest. He felt like he was having a heart attack. He had called her a gold digger. He had thrown a check at her. He had accused her of bringing someone else's kid. He had treated his own flesh and blood like garbage. He had dragged his sick daughter out of the freezing rain. Erica's ghost watched him from the corner. You did not know, Adrien. You could not have known, she whispered. But I tried to tell you, Erica sobbed. I tried so hard. You just refused to listen to a single word I said. Adrien slammed his fists on the desk. He broke his expensive keyboard. He hated himself more than anything else. He had to make this right. He had to save the only piece of Erica he had left in this cruel, miserable world. Adrien slowly walked back upstairs. The mansion was completely silent now. He felt the heavy weight of his sins. He entered the guest room again. Arya was asleep on the giant bed. She still held the wooden box in her arms. She looked so peaceful, but she was sick. Her little heart was ticking like a faulty bomb inside her small chest. Adrien sat on the edge of the bed. He reached out and gently touched her pale cheek. She stirred but did not wake. I am your daddy, Arya, he whispered softly into the quiet room. I am so sorry I was not there for you both. I promise I will never let you go hungry again. I will fix your heart. I will give you the whole damn world. A single tear fell from his eye. It landed on Arya's small hand. She squeezed the box tightly in her deep sleep. Erica floated closer. She stood right beside Adrien. She looked down at their sleeping daughter with pure love. She placed her ghostly hand over Adrien's hand. He felt a sudden, inexplicable warmth spread through his cold fingers. Take care of our little star, Adrien, Erica whispered into his ear. Love her enough for the both of us now. The sun rose over the Calloway estate. Golden light flooded the large guest room. Arya opened her eyes slowly. She was not in her cold, damp apartment. She was in a giant, warm bed. The memory of the angry man came rushing back. She sat up quickly. She checked for her mother's box. It was still there beside her. She let out a breath of relief. The door opened gently. Mrs. Gable walked in carrying a tray. It smelled like fresh pancakes and warm syrup. Good morning, little one. The housekeeper smiled warmly. I brought you some breakfast. Are you hungry today? Arya's stomach growled loudly. She nodded shyly. Mrs. Gable placed the heavy silver tray on the soft mattress. Where is the mean man? Arya asked quietly. She took a big bite of a pancake. It was the best thing she ever ate. Mr. Calloway is downstairs, Mrs. Gable replied softly. He is not a mean man, sweetie. He is just very sad, Arya frowned. Why is he sad? He has a big house and lots of food. My mommy was sad because we had nothing. Sometimes, having everything does not mean you have what truly matters, Mrs. Gable said with a gentle sigh. Adrien was waiting in the dining room. He had not slept a single minute. He drank his 5th cup of black coffee. He heard small footsteps approaching. Arya walked in behind the housekeeper. She looked nervous and very small. Adrien stood up immediately. He did not know how to act around a child, especially a child that was his own flesh. Sit down, Arya, Adrien said gently. He tried to soften his deep voice. He pulled out a large chair for her. Arya climbed onto the chair. She looked at him with suspicious eyes. She clutched the edge of the wooden table. I know about your mother, Adrien started carefully. He swallowed hard. I know she is in that wooden box. Arya's eyes filled with tears instantly. You said she was a liar. You said she was a coward. She accused him. I was wrong, Adrien admitted openly. His voice cracked with emotion. I was a stupid, blind fool, Arya. Your mother was the bravest woman I ever met. She did everything to protect you, he said, holding back his tears. Arya wiped her eyes. She looked at him confused. Then why did you yell at her? Why did you make her cry? Because I was hurt, Adrien explained softly. He leaned forward on the table. We had a very bad misunderstanding. I thought she left me because I was poor. I did not know she was sick, he confessed to the 5-year-old girl. She told me you were her star, Adrien continued. She came to me for help, and I turned her away. I am sorry. Arya stared at him. Her mother had never spoken badly of Adrien. She only said he was a very busy, important man. Are you my daddy? Arya asked suddenly. The question hung heavily in the air. The room went completely silent. Adrien felt his breath catch. He nodded slowly. Yes, I am your father, Arya. I just found out last night. Arya thought about this. She looked at her small hands. Mommy said I had your eyes, but she said you hated us. I never hated you, Adrien swore passionately. I could never hate you. I was just angry at the whole world. He got up and knelt beside her chair. I want to take care of you now. I want to fix your heart. Will you let me? Arya looked at his desperate, tear-filled eyes. She slowly nodded her head. Okay, but you cannot yell anymore. Adrien wasted no time after their morning talk. He made several urgent phone calls. He contacted the best doctors. Money was no longer an object. He would spend his entire fortune to save her. He told his assistants to clear his schedule. He walked into Arya's room. She was looking out the large window. The storm had finally passed outside. We are going on a trip today, Adrien told her gently. He packed a small bag with her few belongings. Where are we going? Arya asked nervously. She held her mother's wooden box tightly against her small chest. To a special hospital. We are going to fix your heart, Adrien promised. He picked her up with incredible care. Arya rested her head on his broad shoulder. She felt safe for the first time in years. His presence was strong and warm. They walked out to the waiting car. The driver opened the door. Adrien placed her gently in the back seat. He buckled her seatbelt himself. He sat right beside her. He held her small hand during the entire drive to the clinic. The private hospital was large and pristine. Nurses rushed out to greet them. They had been expecting the CEO's arrival. They placed Arya in a wheelchair. She looked terrified of the bright lights. The sterile smell of the hospital scared her. Adrien never let go of her hand. I am right here. I will not leave you, he whispered constantly to reassure her. A team of specialists examined her. They ran dozens of tests. The machines beeped loudly in the quiet rooms. Dr. Evans, the lead cardiologist, pulled Adrien aside. His face looked very serious. Adrien felt a cold knot in his stomach. Her condition is severe, Mr. Calloway. The valve is badly damaged, the doctor explained in a low, grim tone. Can you fix it? Adrien demanded. His eyes were desperate. He could not lose his daughter so soon after finding her. We can perform the surgery tomorrow, Dr. Evans nodded, but she is malnourished and weak. The risk is extremely high. Adrien closed his eyes. The weight of his past mistakes crushed him again. If he had only listened to Erica years ago. Adrien stayed in Arya's hospital room all night. He refused to go home. He sat in a chair right next to her bed. Arya was connected to several monitors. She looked incredibly fragile. Her skin was pale against the white sheets. Daddy, she whispered weakly in the dark. It was the first time she called him that on her own. Adrien's heart melted. I am here, sweetie, he answered quickly. He leaned closer to her face. Do you need anything? Are you in pain? I am scared, Arya admitted softly. A small tear rolled down her cheek. What if I do not wake up tomorrow? You will wake up. I forbid you to leave me, Adrien said fiercely. He kissed her warm forehead. You have to stay. Mommy said sleeping is like turning into a star, Arya mumbled tiredly. Maybe I will go join her in the sky. No, we are not doing that, Adrien pleaded. His voice shook with raw emotion. I just got you back. Please fight, Arya. He held her tiny fingers until she finally fell asleep. He stayed awake all night, watching her small chest rise and fall. Morning came too quickly. The nurses arrived to prep Arya for surgery. Adrien walked with her down the long hallway. They reached the doors of the operating room. Adrien had to stop there. He kissed her one last time. "Be brave, my star." The doors closed heavily. Adrien was left alone in the cold waiting area. He sat down and stared blankly at the wall. Inside the operating room, the doctors began their work. The atmosphere was tense. The stakes were incredibly high. Suddenly, a cold breeze filled the sterile room. The monitors flickered for a brief second. Erica's ghost materialized. She stood right beside the operating table. She looked down at her unconscious baby. Her ghostly eyes were full of tears. Erica placed her translucent hands over the surgeon's gloves. She could not touch them physically, but she offered her spirit. She willed the doctor's hands to be perfectly steady. She whispered words of encouragement that no one could hear. "Stay strong, my beautiful girl," Erica chanted silently. "Your father needs you. You have a wonderful life waiting for you." Adrien paced the waiting room for 6 agonizing hours. Every minute felt like a physical blow to his chest. He prayed to a god he had ignored for decades. He bargained with the universe. He offered his own life for hers. "Take me instead," he whispered to the empty room. "She is just an innocent child. Let her live. Please let her live." He remembered Erica's bright smile when they first met. He remembered how much he had loved her before the bitterness took over. He had let his pride destroy everything. He had let money and status blind him to the pain of the woman he loved. Finally, the heavy double doors swung open. Dr. Evans walked out. He looked exhausted. He pulled off his surgical mask. Adrien froze in his tracks. He could barely breathe. He waited for the verdict that would decide his entire future. The doctor offered a small, tired smile. "The surgery was a complete success, Mr. Calloway. We repaired the valve perfectly." Adrien collapsed into a nearby chair. He buried his face in his hands. He sobbed openly, shedding tears of pure relief. Adrien was sitting beside Arya when she finally opened her eyes. The room was quiet, except for the rhythmic beeping of the monitor. She blinked slowly. She looked around in confusion. Then she saw Adrien's face. He was smiling wider than ever before. "Hi there, tough guy," Adrien whispered softly. He gently squeezed her hand. "You did incredibly well. You are safe now." Arya managed a tiny smile. "It hurts a little," she mumbled. Her throat was dry from the breathing tube. "I know, baby. The doctors will give you medicine for that," Adrien assured her. "But your heart is fixed. It is strong." Arya looked towards the empty corner of the room. Her eyes widened slightly. "Mommy is smiling," she said suddenly. Adrien turned to look. He saw nothing but an empty chair, but he felt a sudden drop in the room's temperature. He smiled softly. He did not dismiss her words this time. "Tell her I said thank you," Adrien whispered to the air. Erica stood in the corner, glowing with a soft light. Her unfinished business was almost done. Her daughter was finally safe. While Arya recovered, Adrien turned his attention to the past. He wanted to know exactly how Arya ended up on the streets. He hired a team of ruthless private investigators. He ordered them to tear the city apart to find the truth about the orphanage. Within days, they brought him a thick file. The manager of the orphanage, a man named Silas, was deeply corrupt. Silas had been stealing the state funding for years. When inspectors came, he forced the older children out onto the streets. Arya was one of the unlucky ones chosen to hide. Silas had sent goons to her apartment to silence her and take any valuables. Adrien's rage was colder than ice. He did not just call the police. He bought the building that housed the orphanage entirely. He showed up unannounced with a team of lawyers and police officers. He fired Silas on the spot and had him arrested for fraud. He ensured the man would face maximum prison time. Adrien then donated a massive sum to renovate the entire facility. He hired new, loving staff. He made sure no child would ever be thrown out into the rain again. It was his tribute to Erica. A month later, Arya was finally discharged from the hospital. Her cheeks were pink. She had gained healthy weight. Before going home, Adrien asked his driver to take them to a peaceful green cemetery on the outskirts of the city. He had purchased a beautiful plot under a large oak tree. A pristine white marble headstone stood proudly on the grass. It read, "Erica Lennox, beloved mother, forever our shining star." Adrien carried the wooden box containing her ashes. He placed the box carefully into the prepared earth. He covered it with soft dirt. He laid down a dozen white roses. Arya stood beside him. She wore a warm, expensive coat. She placed a small drawing she had made on the grave. I am sorry I was so blind, Erica. Adrien spoke to the grave. His voice was steady but filled with deep regret. I promise I will protect her with my life. She will never know a day of hunger or sadness again. Rest in peace. Arya hugged Adrien's leg. Bye, Mommy. Daddy is very nice now. You do not have to worry about me anymore. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the oak tree. A single white petal blew off a rose and landed on Adrien's shoe. The massive mansion finally felt like a real home. Adrien held Arya's hand as they walked through the grand front doors. Mrs. Gable was waiting with a huge, warm smile. She had baked fresh cookies for Arya's arrival. The smell was heavenly. Welcome home, sweet girl, the housekeeper said softly. She handed Arya a chocolate chip cookie. It was perfectly warm. Adrien led his daughter upstairs to her new bedroom. He had hired the best designers to totally transform the large space. He pushed the white doors open. Arya gasped loudly. The room was painted in soft shades of pastel pink and warm yellow. A giant canopy bed sat in the middle of the room. It looked like a princess castle. Fluffy white pillows covered it completely. There was a reading nook by the large window. A massive shelf was filled with brand new books and soft stuffed animals. Is this all for me? Arya asked in pure disbelief. She had never seen so many toys in her entire short life. It is all yours, my little star, Adrien promised. He knelt down to match her height. Whatever you want, you get. Despite the beautiful room, the first week was hard. The trauma of the streets still haunted Arya's fragile mind at night. She woke up screaming on the third night. The dark shadows in the corners looked like the bad men from the orphanage. Adrien burst into her room within seconds. He was wearing sweatpants and a loose shirt. He did not care about his sleep. He scooped her into his strong arms. I got you. Daddy is right here, he whispered frantically. He rocked her gently. They are coming for me, Arya sobbed into his chest. She grabbed his shirt tightly. Her small body shook with terror. Nobody is coming, Adrien swore fiercely. I have guards at every door. Nothing will ever hurt you again. I promise. He carried her to the rocking chair near the window. He hummed a soft tune. It was an old song his mother used to sing. Arya's breathing slowly returned to normal. The warmth of his broad chest chased away the cold nightmares. She felt safe. Erica's spirit lingered in the mansion. She watched Adrien care for their daughter. Her heart swelled with immense pride. He was no longer the cold, bitter man who rejected her. He was a loving, devoted father. The transformation was miraculous. She saw him skip important board meetings to play dolls. She saw him read bedtime stories with funny voices. He was perfect. Erica felt her connection to the earthly world weakening. Her transparent form was slowly turning into pure, radiant light. Her anger and sorrow had completely vanished. She had stayed behind to protect Arya. Now, Adrien was fulfilling that role. She floated into Arya's bedroom one last time. The little girl was fast asleep. Adrien was asleep in the chair beside her. Erica kissed Arya's forehead softly. Then, she walked over to Adrien. She kissed his cheek. Thank you, my love, she whispered. A bright, warm light engulfed her spirit. Erica Lennox was finally at peace. She faded away into the quiet, starry night. The Calloway Group noticed a huge change in their CEO. Adrien was no longer a workaholic who demanded late nights from everyone. He started leaving the office at 5 o'clock sharp. He refused to schedule any weekend meetings. His priorities had shifted. Family comes first, he told his shocked board of directors. The company will survive if I miss a dinner. My kid will not. He built a massive playroom right next to his home office. When he had to work from home, Arya was always right beside him. She would sit at her tiny desk drawing pictures. He would review multi-million-dollar contracts at his massive oak desk. Sometimes he would pause a conference call just to praise her coloring. The ruthless businessman was completely domesticated. His employees actually respected him more. The cold, unfeeling boss was replaced by a man with a real beating heart. Mornings became their special time. Adrien fired his personal chef. He wanted to cook breakfast for his daughter himself. He burned the pancakes on the first 3 tries. The fire alarm went off twice. Arya laughed so hard her stomach hurt. I negotiate corporate mergers for a living, Adrien grumbled playfully. Why is flipping a piece of batter so damn hard? Mrs. Gable eventually taught him the secret. Soon, he was making perfect, fluffy pancakes. He even made them shaped like stars. They would sit at the small kitchen island together. They ate their star pancakes covered in sweet maple syrup and fresh fruit. "These are the best pancakes in the world," Arya declared loudly. She had syrup on her nose. Adrien wiped it off with a smile. He drank his black coffee and watched her eat. Every morning felt like a precious gift. He would never take it for granted. Arya needed to start her education. Adrien hired the best private tutors in the city. He wanted her to catch up safely. She was incredibly smart. She absorbed information like a tiny sponge. Her reading skills improved drastically in just weeks. Adrien helped her with her math homework every evening. He was surprisingly patient. He explained numbers with simple games. "If Daddy has 5 apples and you take 3, what do I have?" he asked. He held up his large hands to demonstrate the math. "You have 2 apples," Arya answered proudly. "And I have a full tummy." Adrien let out a booming laugh that echoed loudly. He was so incredibly proud of her. She was resilient. Despite all the trauma she endured, she remained sweet and deeply kind. She often asked Mrs. Gable to pack extra lunches. She wanted to give them to the homeless people they saw during their drives. Adrien never stopped her. In fact, he started a massive charity foundation in Erica's name. It was dedicated to helping kids. One rainy afternoon, Adrien found Arya looking sad. She was staring out the window. She missed her mother very intensely today. Adrien had an idea. He went to his study and pulled out a large leather scrapbook. He brought it back to the living room. "What is that?" Arya asked softly. She wiped a tear from her eye. Adrien sat down next to her on the plush velvet sofa. "This is a memory book," Adrien explained gently. "I thought we could fill it with things that remind us of your brave mommy." He opened the first page. He pasted a beautiful photograph of Erica. She was smiling brightly in a sunny green park. Arya gasped. "Mommy looks so pretty," she whispered. She traced the photo with her tiny finger. "I want to put something in." She ran to her room. She brought back the drawing she made at the cemetery. She carefully glued it next to the photograph. They spent hours compiling the book. They wrote down funny stories. They added pressed flowers and small, precious trinkets. Months passed by. The seasons changed from harsh winter to a bright, blooming spring. The Calloway estate was full of life. Arya's heart was completely healed. The doctors were amazed by her fast recovery. She ran around the gardens with endless energy. Adrien bought her a golden retriever puppy for her 6th birthday. She named the dog Sunny. They were absolutely inseparable. On a warm evening, they sat on the back patio. The sky was turning dark. The stars began to appear one by one in the sky. Arya pointed a small finger upwards. "Look, Daddy, there is Mommy," she said happily. She pointed at the brightest star above. Adrien looked up and smiled. His heart was completely full. He wrapped his arm around his daughter's small shoulders. "Yes, she is right there," Adrien agreed softly. "She is watching over us. And I think she is very proud of you, little star." The puppy slept peacefully at their feet. The terrible storm of the past was finally over. They had a beautiful future ahead. Summer faded into a crisp autumn. It was time for Arya to start a real school. Adrien chose a prestigious academy nearby. He bought her a tiny uniform with a plaid skirt. She looked adorable. She wore a bright yellow backpack shaped like a bee. Adrien was more nervous than she was. He paced around the kitchen. He checked her lunchbox 3 times to be absolutely sure. "Daddy, I will be fine." Arya giggled at his panic. She patted his large hand. "Sunny will guard the house while I am gone." They drove to the academy. Adrien walked her to the classroom door. He knelt down to fix her small red collar gently. "Be brave, little star," he whispered softly. "Make lots of friends today. But remember, no one is cooler than your old dad." Arya laughed and hugged his neck tightly. "I love you, Daddy," she said. She ran inside the room with a huge, happy smile. Arya was a natural leader. Her past made her empathetic. She noticed a boy sitting alone during the lunch recess period. His name was Leo. He was shy and wore thick glasses. Other kids ignored him. Arya walked over and sat right next to him. "Do you want half of my sandwich?" she asked kindly. "Mrs. Gable makes the best turkey sandwiches in the whole wide world." Leo smiled nervously and accepted the food. They talked about dogs and stars. By the end of the day, they were best friends. Adrien picked her up that afternoon. She talked non-stop about Leo. Adrien smiled. His daughter had a heart of pure gold. He realized Erica's kindness lived on inside Arya. She was a beacon of light. She brought warmth to everyone she ever met. The Erica Lennox Foundation grew massive. Adrien organized a grand gala to raise funds for children with heart conditions. The mansion was transformed for the event. Crystal lights sparkled everywhere. Hundreds of wealthy guests arrived in fancy cars. Adrien wore a sharp black tuxedo. Arya wore a beautiful blue dress. It sparkled like the night sky. She looked like a princess. Adrien took the stage to give a speech. He held the microphone tightly. The huge ballroom went completely silent to listen. I started this foundation for the love of my life, Adrien spoke clearly, and for my daughter who showed me how to live. We must protect our children. We must listen when they cry for help, he declared. The crowd erupted into massive applause. Arya beamed with pride. She held Mrs. Gable's hand. She knew her mother was watching from above, smiling at their good work. The gala was a massive success. They raised millions of dollars in one night. Adrien was busy thanking the generous donors. Suddenly, a familiar face approached him. It was Dr. Evans, the surgeon who saved Arya. He looked very happy to be there. Mr. Calloway, this is a remarkable event, the doctor praised him. You have turned a tragedy into a true miracle for many. I could not have done it without you, Doctor, Adrien replied warmly. He shook the man's hand with deep, sincere gratitude. Dr. Evans smiled and looked around the room. Where is my favorite patient? I brought a special gift for the brave little girl. Adrien led him to the dessert table. Arya was eating a giant chocolate strawberry. She waved happily at her favorite doctor. Dr. Evans handed Arya a small, wrapped box. She opened it carefully. Inside was a real, working stethoscope just for her. So you can listen to your own strong heart, Dr. Evans explained gently. And maybe one day, you can help other kids too. Arya gasped loudly. She put the earpieces in and pressed the metal to her chest. She heard the steady, strong beat inside. Thump, 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 thump. It was the sound of life. It was the sound of her father's endless love and her mother's sacrifice. I want to be a doctor when I grow up, Arya announced proudly. I want to fix broken hearts just like you fixed mine today. Adrien felt a tear escape his eye. He hugged her tightly. He knew she would achieve anything she set her beautiful mind to. Winter arrived with a massive snowstorm. The estate was covered in a thick white blanket. School was cancelled for a whole week. Arya and Sunny ran outside immediately. They rolled in the soft snow. Adrien watched them from the warm kitchen window, smiling. He decided to join the fun. He put on his heavy coat and boots. He snuck up behind Arya and gently tossed a snowball at her back. Hey, that is cold, Arya squealed. She quickly packed a snowball of her own. She threw it directly at her father's handsome face. A massive snowball fight erupted in the yard. They laughed until their sides hurt. Mrs. Gable came out to throw a few snowballs too. They eventually collapsed into the snow, making perfect snow angels. The sky above was clear and bright. The air was crisp and fresh. They went inside to drink hot cocoa by the fireplace. The living room was cozy and warm. The fire crackled brightly in the hearth. Adrien noticed an empty armchair near the fire. He often imagined Erica sitting there. He imagined her laughing at their silly games. Do you think Mommy likes snow? Arya asked suddenly. She was sipping her cocoa from a massive red mug filled with marshmallows. I think she loves it, Adrien answered softly. She used to say the snow made the whole world look clean and brand new again. He walked over and kissed Arya's messy hair. We are keeping her memory alive, baby. Every time we smile, she is smiling too. Arya nodded happily. She snuggled closer to the warm fire. She knew her family was whole, even if one piece was up in the sky. Years began to fly by like pages in a book. Arya grew taller and stronger. Her heart condition never caused another problem again. She excelled in school. She won science fairs and spelling bees. Adrien never missed a single event. He was her biggest cheerleader. He turned down massive business deals if they conflicted with her life. His board of directors eventually learned to stop asking him. My most important meeting is at 3 o'clock, Adrien would say sternly. My daughter has a soccer game. Everything else can wait. He stood on the sidelines every weekend. He yelled cheers louder than any other parent. He was so deeply proud of his little star. Arya was no longer a little child. She entered middle school with high honors. She was the top student in her science class. Her dream of becoming a doctor was still alive. Adrien watched her grow with immense pride. She was tall and had her mother's beautiful smile. He still walked her to the school gates whenever he could. Daddy, you do not have to walk me all the way, Arya giggled one morning. The other kids are starting to look at us funny." Adrien laughed and hugged her shoulders. "I do not care what the other kids think," he said playfully. "I am always going to be your bodyguard." A few years later, Arya was a teenager. One Friday afternoon, she mentioned a boy named Marcus. She said he asked her to go to the movies. Adrien completely panicked in his study. He immediately called his security team. He wanted a full background check on Marcus right away. Mrs. Gable caught him pacing the floor. She shook her head and smiled. "Mr. Calloway, she is a good girl," she reminded him gently. "You must let her grow up." Adrien sighed and sat down. He knew the housekeeper was completely right. He just wanted to protect his little star from any heartbreak. Every single year on Erica's death anniversary, they visited the peaceful cemetery. They always brought a beautiful cake and white roses. They would sit on the green grass under the large oak tree for hours. They talked about everything that happened during the busy year. "Mommy, I got an A in biology," Arya whispered to the white headstone. "I am working really hard to make you proud of me." Adrien placed his arm around his daughter. "She is already proud of you, Arya," he said softly. "She has been proud since the day you were born." Time flew by like a flash of lightning. Soon, Arya was standing on a large stage in a blue graduation gown. She was the valedictorian. Adrien sat in the front row. Tears of pure joy streamed down his face. He clapped louder than anyone else in the massive auditorium. Arya walked up to the microphone to give her speech. She looked directly at her father. Her eyes were shining with deep gratitude. "I want to thank my dad," Arya said clearly into the microphone. "He saved me from the dark. He showed me what true love really means." That summer, a thick white envelope arrived at the mansion. Arya opened it with trembling fingers. She gasped and jumped up and down. She was accepted into the top medical school in the country. Her dream was finally coming true. She was going to become a cardiologist. Adrien threw a massive celebration party at the estate. He invited all their friends and doctors. The entire mansion was filled with music. Dr. Evans attended the party too. He looked at Arya with immense pride. "You are going to change the world, Dr. Calloway," he smiled warmly. Years of hard work passed by. Arya finally wore a pristine white doctor's coat. She walked through the halls of the very same hospital. She was now a brilliant surgeon. She saved dozens of children with heart defects every month. She gave them a second chance at life. Adrien was an old man now. His hair was completely silver, but his eyes were still bright and full of endless love for his daughter. He visited her at the clinic one afternoon. He watched her gently treat a young, frightened girl. It reminded him so much of the past. One quiet evening, Adrien and Arya sat on the balcony of their home. The night sky was completely clear. Millions of stars sparkled above. "We did it, Daddy," Arya whispered softly. She held his old, wrinkled hand. "We made Mommy's sacrifice truly mean something beautiful." Adrien looked up at the brightest star in the sky. He felt a sudden, warm breeze touch his cheek. He knew Erica was watching them. "Yes, we did, my little star," Adrien replied with a peaceful smile. "Our family is bound by love, and love never truly dies." The legacy of Erica's sacrifice was fulfilled. They had survived the terrible storm. Now, they lived forever in the warm, beautiful light. Arya stood in the hospital nursery. She was looking at her own daughter for the first time. The baby was tiny and wrapped in a soft white blanket. Her name was Erica. She had the same dark hair as her mother. Arya felt a profound sense of closure. The cycle of life had come full circle. Julian, her husband, stood beside her. He squeezed her hand gently. "She is perfect, Arya," he whispered. "She is the start of everything." Arya smiled. She thought of her father. She knew Adrien would be waiting at home, ready to spoil his first grandchild beyond belief. She had fought so hard to survive. She had endured the pain and the loss. Now, she was holding the future in her own steady arms. The news of the baby's birth reached the mansion instantly. Adrien was ready. He had prepared the nursery weeks ago with the best items. When Arya brought little Erica home, Adrien was waiting at the door. He moved much slower now, but his eyes were bright with pure excitement. "Let me see her," Adrien said softly. His hands trembled as he reached out. He held the baby with such reverence and absolute care. He looked down at the infant's face. He saw the family resemblance. He promised the baby that he would protect her forever. You have a very special guardian, little one, Adrien whispered to the baby. Your grandmother is watching over you from the stars. The mansion was once again filled with the sounds of a child. Little Erica brought a new energy into the house. It felt brand new. Every Sunday, the family gathered for a massive lunch. They ate in the dining room where Adrien used to sit alone in silence. Now, the table was loud. Arya and Julian shared stories about their work. Little Erica played on the floor with her many toys. Adrien sat at the head of the table. He watched them with a content smile. He had everything he ever wanted in this life. The shadows of the past had receded. They were replaced by the warm light of the present. He was a father, a husband, and a grandfather. When little Erica turned 3, she started asking questions. She saw the portrait of her grandmother in the hallway every single day. Who is she? The little girl asked. She pointed to the beautiful woman in the painting. Arya knelt down to meet her eyes. That is my mommy, Arya explained gently. She is the reason we are all here. She was a very brave and very beautiful woman. She told the story of the star. She told her daughter how much love had gone into saving their family. It was a beautiful tale. Little Erica listened intently. She touched the frame of the painting. She felt a connection to the woman she had never met. Adrien's health slowly began to decline. The years of hard work and the long struggle had taken their toll on his body. He spent most of his time in his favorite chair by the window. He watched the garden. He watched his granddaughter play outside. Arya spent as much time with him as possible. She was a doctor, but she was also his daughter. She took care of him. Do not be sad, Arya, Adrien told her one afternoon. He was breathing heavily. I have lived a full life because of you. He took her hand. You were the best thing that ever happened to me. You saved me when I was lost in the dark. One summer evening, the sunset was golden and bright. Adrien sat on the balcony. He felt light and peaceful inside. He watched the stars begin to emerge in the darkening sky. He knew the time had come. He was ready to rest now. Arya sat beside him. She felt the change in the air. She held his hand tightly. She was not afraid of the moment. I can see her, Adrien whispered. He was looking up at the sky. She is waiting for me, Arya. She is finally waiting. Arya nodded. Tears fell down her cheeks, but she smiled. She knew her father was going home to the love he had lost. Adrien closed his eyes. His breathing slowed until it stopped completely. He was gone, but he was at peace. Arya sat with him for a long time. She did not call for help. She just held his hand and let him go in the silence. She felt a sudden warmth in the air. It was a feeling of love. It was the feeling of being held by both of her parents. She knew they were together now. The story that began with a tragic breakup had ended in a beautiful reunion. The funeral was a celebration of a life well lived. Many people attended. Adrien had touched so many lives with his kindness. Arya stood before the crowd. She did not cry. She felt a sense of immense pride. She had fulfilled her promise to them. My father was a man of great strength, she told the guests. He taught me that love can conquer even the deepest sorrow. He built a legacy of hope, she continued. He taught me that a broken heart can always be mended by kindness. Life continued at the mansion. Arya and Julian raised their daughter with the same values. The house remained full of laughter. The foundation in Erica's name continued to grow. It saved thousands of children. It kept the spirit of their family alive. Arya often took little Erica to the garden. They sat under the oak tree. They talked to the stars. Mommy and Grandpa are watching us, the little girl would say. Arya always agreed. She could feel their presence nearby. The story of the Calloway family became a legend in the city. It was a story of redemption and endless, undying love. It reminded everyone that nothing is truly lost if it is remembered. It reminded them that hope is a powerful force. Arya looked at her own daughter. She saw the future. She saw the strength of the past reflected in the child's bright eyes. She had done it. She had honored her mother. She had honored her father. She had created a life of meaning. The stars above shone brighter than ever before. They were the witnesses to a story that would never ever be forgotten. Time moves on. The mansion remains a sanctuary. Arya is an older woman now. She has seen the foundation grow into a global movement. It spans across continents, saving countless little lives. Her daughter, the younger Erica, now leads the hospital. She carries the same warmth that Arya once did. The name Lennox is synonymous with hope and healing for families everywhere. Arya sits in the garden. She watches the sunset. Her hands are weathered but steady. She reflects on the journey from that cold street to this beautiful life. It was a long road. She feels a presence nearby. It is not cold, but comforting. The wind brushes against her cheek like a soft kiss. She knows they are there. They have never truly left her side. She looks up at the darkening sky. The first star appears. It shines brighter than all others. It is the steady beacon that guided her father. It is the light of her mother. She smiles to herself. The story of their love is etched into the very foundation of this home. It is a story of forgiveness. It is a story of redemption. It is a story of grace. The cycle continues. A new generation plays on the lawn. Life is vibrant and full of promise. The tragedy of the past has transformed into a future of endless, boundless potential. She closes her eyes. She is finally at rest. The mission is complete. The stars wait for her. She is ready to join the constellation of love that guards her family forever. The end of the road is beautiful. It is not the end of the story, merely a new beginning. Love remains the strongest force in the universe. It survives every storm and every winter. The mansion stands tall in the moonlight. It is a monument to the spirit of a mother who never gave up. It is a testament to a father who learned to love. It is their sanctuary. Peace settles over the land. The stars twinkle in rhythm with the heartbeat of the earth. Everything is as it should be. The legacy of the star remains forever bright and true. The house is quiet. The fire in the hearth has died down to embers. Memories drift through the halls like gentle ghosts. They are happy memories. They are echoes of a love that won. Arya breathes deep. The cool night air fills her lungs. She feels light. She feels loved. She is finally ready to let go of the physical world. It is time to return to the light. She hears a whisper in the breeze. It is her mother's voice. It is her father's laugh. They are calling her home. She stands up and walks toward the garden gate. The gate opens to a sea of stars. The light is blinding and warm. She steps forward with confidence. She is not afraid. She is going back to where she belongs. She is going back to them. The sky welcomes her. The stars align to guide her way. The story of the broken heart that was healed is now a song that will play for eternity. The mansion remains. The foundation endures. The star in the sky glows with a steady, fierce light. It watches over the world. It watches over the family. It is love eternal. The story concludes here. Yet, in the hearts of those who remember, it continues to beat. It is a reminder that we are never truly alone. Love is the bridge that connects us all. May the light of the star guide you. May the strength of the father inspire you. May the love of the mother protect you. This is the end of the journey. This is the beginning of peace.